Right, let's have a little recap of what you've
Do you want me to go back to the beginning?
what you've researched
Okay.
on the little girl that you.
So Eliza Warburton, Eliza presumably, maybe short for Elizabeth, was murdered in 1908. Don't know whether you got on camera before that. Something I researched when I was 10,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason came back to me quite recently. Gary picked up on September. She was murdered in October 1908. She was playing outside with her friends, one of which was called Lillian, which Gary picked up on earlier, when a strange man approached them. He was known to the children, but strange in the fact that he was troubled.
He wasn't the full.
He wasn't a full shilling.
Wasn't the full shilling.
They say he had a glass eye because of a childhood injury. He was kind of an outsider, I guess.
And the type of job he done.
You
mentioned street light.
Yeah, he was a local street lighter, so he was familiar to the children.
But that time of year, they would have been. He was hanging around, wasn't he?
He was loitering, I guess. Yeah.
Loitering.
He asked the children, "Who wants to earn a tuppence? Buy me some cigarettes." And Eliza, being bouncy and lively, volunteered.
She went with him.
Her father was called Walter. Unknowingly, we brought Walter through earlier.
We drew that on the paper as well.
We drew a W on the paper. He worked as a salt boiler, and his main job was to stir the brine. Gary picked up on a hand injury earlier on. There's nothing to say that, you know, he suffered a hand injury, but it's quite possible that he suffered a burn or something like that.
Could have been RSI as well, couldn't it? With using the strength in one hand to do what is
bad back. Also.
Bad back.
Eliza's house was opposite open land fields, which Gary picked up on earlier. And also the murderer's name was James Phipps, and again earlier on Gary brought through James. We didn't know what that was at the time. Eliza went off with James Phipps, and ultimately that was the last time she was seen. People started looking for her. He was a very distinctive character because of his, you know, physical appearance and persona. Phipps was spotted walking across Middlewich Fields, which obviously was picked up on just a little bit earlier. We mentioned Fields. A number of people challenged him, but he just kind of ignored them, walking off down School Lane. Before cameras started rolling, Lynn actually suggested that was there potentially a school that used to be here. We know this used to be a pub/inn, but quite possibly the school was coming through from something else, like not this actual building.
And she's buried very close to where she was killed.
She's actually buried less than 200 yards from where she was murdered.
Shallow grave, as we said.
Shallow grave. The only part of her that wasn't submerged in water was her feet.
That was prior to where he then buried her later on.
When they found her, they described her as quite dead. Only her feet were still dry. A piece of string was tightly strung around her neck, but this was ruled out as the cause of death, and it was actually drowning in 8 inches of water.
And he was hung.
There was a large contusion to the back of her head.
The tumour I mentioned.
Mm-hmm. She was alive when she went into the water. Probably the chest pains. She was found very easily because of the white dress that she was wearing. Wouldn't be known. the little girl that was on the stairs earlier, she was wearing a smock white dress. God, it just all interlinks. He was hung for the murder.
He was dragged up on.
But he was also a bit of a sociopath in the fact that he slept soundly, ate like a king, you know, like nothing had happened. The family were very poor. The community paid for the funeral and the gravestone. The trial of James Phipps took place on the 23rd of October, less than 2 weeks after the murder. This is the bit I didn't read before you put the camera on. Witnesses were 10 years old.
Was a little brother around?
Fred Blag, who was playing with Eliza, a friend. Have we mentioned Thomas?
No. No.
It was an Elliot, Alice.
That could have been to do with the Eliza.
Yeah, that's right.
But they're all buried close together, aren't they? Mum and Dad. It's a little girl's grave.
Mum's name was Mary.
No way.
Myself, Mary.
What did I give her a second name as well?
Beth.
Mary Beth.
I'm getting good at this.
Where'd you get it from? She's a proper Fields, like. She's originally a Fields.
Yeah.
There you go.
My dad and his dad brothers.
And all
It's all about the chase and the court hearing.
And the flowers on the grave and everything else you've tied in as well as your vision as well.
I had put flowers on the grave and I had big daisies before.
Yeah,
we come
big
here.
daisies.
Literally what we put on.
But also as well, that's why Becky's not been sleeping well, is because of this fella. Everywhere the little girl goes, where Bex goes, the little girl follows, 20 foot behind, his energy's behind.
This could be the dates that you were pulling forward before, where he was hanged. Only 8 executions took place between 1886 and 1917. You were pulling dates through earlier on.
It was on that
the
paper.
late 1800s.
86, I think it was, wasn't it?
There was a recap on the dates, just so.
1886 to 1917, but we weren't sure if that was...
The 1917 period we had was with I put 1913 to 1918, which is the First World War
that's
period,
right,
wasn't it? I mentioned.
Phipps was hanged.
Don't tell me in a uniform.
On the 12th
Of September.
of the 11th.
12th of the 11th.
No way.
There's the 11th.
There's the 11th.
Just the wrong way around.
Yeah.
All sorts of years then.
Ooh.
Right.
Yeah. Remember what I said about the cut right down the face?
Yeah.
Oh,
That way.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was ripped all his jaw. The ropes ripped all his jaw off.
The rope. Ah.
Ripped all his jaw off.
There
Remember I
you
said
go.
from the mouth was all cut.
Goodness. Yeah.
It's all this bottom jaw's come out of its socket.
That'd be pretty horrific.
As good as right up. It's just popped all the bottom jaw out. That's what they just said now
Well,
again.
yeah, it wouldn't, yeah. Did he just relate that to you?
He didn't show any remorse.
No.
He just wanted to Die. I wish it was all over. I'm tired of waiting.
He's
Were his pretty much his last words.
he's got
Yeah.
a lot of issues. I can't believe I'm kind of seeing things from his side. That's weird.
But is that type
Well,
of
that's
male
your
evidence?
empathetic.
He's trying. You're picking up on his empathy, is what you're doing now. So he's throwing that on you.
Ah. Crimean War, 1853 to 1856.
They gave him a drop of 11 feet.
They give him what?
11 feet.
They gave him a drop.
Oh, of 11 feet.
That'd pull your head off, let alone anything else.
This was longer than usual,
Yeah.
as Phipps was thick set.
Oh,
Whatever that means.
as in big guy, big guy.
Pissed
That was-
off,
yeah.
heavy guy.
No wonder it'd take his jaw off. I'm surprised it didn't take
He
his head off.
refused a meal. Maybe this is why I'm feeling sick. I'm hungry. Who knows?
11 feet, that's massive.
He gave no resistance when they bled him.
It's probably because he knows deep down he deserved it.
Also, as well, I feel there was more to do when they took him down, took him away. There was more to do with the body as well. So I feel that, you know, like not post mortem, but they would have done more to him afterwards.
Are there any other numbers?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
It's on that paper,
1908.
Linda. It's on the paper,
Are there any? Have you got any double figures rather than
Yeah.
dates?
Lynn. On the paper,
On the,
the
big,
roll,
Yeah, the roll. Where is it? Is it on
the roll.
Yeah, you've got loads of stuff down there.
Just unroll it.
I can take it.
The second part. It's all right. Yeah.
You want that into the thoughts, Matt?
1923. There's 1913.
66 years old. 1911.
Maybe I put there, didn't I?
Yeah.
1911, maybe. 1911, but that's the 11th again. 11 sticking out again, isn't it? Very dominant.
Anything to talk about a jury on that?
What's that by you there, Lynn? By your middle? Sick.
Sick.
Headache.
Yeah.
Top left ear.
What's this?
Headache.
What's a good word? Headaches.
Sick could have been him. Mentally sick.
Yeah.
I mean, we assume sick is physical.
Go away.
That
What's
could be
that for? What's that say there? Frustration. Old man.
Frustrated old man.
Frustration.
Old man, right, there you go. On
him. We
that.
assumed that was Walter. Or, you know.
But he would be as well. Both of them would be.
Go away, I'm thinking maybe James. Because, maybe.
Oh, he was a bit more impolite about that.
Where's your First World War as well, with the date as well, isn't it? Around that period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What date was he? Did he get hanged?
12th of
The 11th for the 12th for the 11th.
November.
What year?
1908.
1908.
Yeah, okay, that's before the war, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, we did have that, yeah. She was 10 years old then.
That's the thing though, can you pick up more than one spirit at once?
You get
So
collectively
you could
energy.
get like a mixture, couldn't
Get
you?
the mixture.
Yeah, so it's...
So is it all tied?
To you.
Is it all tied in for you?
Makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Kind of what I.
What was the reason that you started researching the little girl when you was 10?
School, wasn't it?
School project.
School
of
project.
Local history.
So this has been around for, I'm not going to say a few years, but this has been around
A while.
a while.
A couple of decades and then...
But even with the intelligence of spirit, a lot has come to the forefront to tie in. This one's closure now,
Yeah.
and then you can move on.
Yeah.
They can move on, but I need to sort this. I need to sort this fella out.
This guy's going to need
What I need to do with this fella.
Yeah.
I think he's going to need like sort of...
Last week, you know, I said when I found it and the copy floated over.
Did you feel like you was choking?
I felt like very heavy chest compressions. last week when I was doing a deep clean of the kitchen, and I moved my microwave out the way. The poppy was behind the microwave, and I thought, I need to let this go, and I gave it a kiss and I put it away, and I
It wants the closure from this going on around for so long around
it. It was a very
you.
dishevelled poppy. It wasn't like it was in good nick. And I gave it a kiss, and I actually said goodbye. I'm sorry, Eliza, but I need to let this go now, and I put it in.
But the thing is, the reason that this can't cut and shut and move on and close yet is because of this energy needs to get I need to sort this male energy out and break the tie away from around the scenario of what's gone on.
He needs to say his story.
No, he needs to come away from it.
Yeah.
I need to move him,
He
break away
Rest,
from that. She needs to be at rest,
Yeah,
but she
does,
can't
but
rest because
he needs listening to before he can let her go.
Mhm.
Oh, massive. I don't know why I'm speaking like this.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like I'm taking his side, but not. I'm not taking his side. But I think, as you said earlier, it's the empath in me
Yeah.
that sort of
You're
like
understanding his nature. You don't agree with it,
he's
but-
done an evil, hideous thing, but he.
won't see that in his mindset, will he?
No, like his physical side, he'll be like,
He doesn't
well,
think he's
yeah,
done
whatever,
anything.
you know.
He doesn't accept what he's doing. It's wrong.
He probably can't even realise what he's doing, but now he's passed. He's probably like, oh my God, what have I done? I
So-
want forgiveness, and
so-
now he's
So
facing.
in your closure type of thing as well, it's like you will need to revisit the graveyard just to say goodbye to her, to let that chapter go, and then the white light will hopefully repel him as well, which I'll try and work on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I walked to the shop the other day, and I thought to myself, have I got time to go and see her? And I thought, I'm not gonna come and see you today, and it must be because I need to go and see her tomorrow to say goodbye and say you can move on now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She wants. That's just clicking up there as well, isn't it? Still, the response.
Been beaten away, yeah.
So the REM pod's still going.
I like I say, I always feel busy in this house, but at my house there's very little.
She scoots
anything.
here before you get here. She's
the
here
other
before
week-
you get here.
The other week at my house, I said to you, I'm sure she's latched on to me. I'm sure she's following me around.
You did.
She's got that. She's intrigued with why you've researched her all them years ago, and
Yeah.
then she feels safe around you because you understand the scenario. And then when you've just read up on that case file again that you've just looked and researched years ago to what you found out more in depth now, does that make sense?
Mm.
You've shown you give a damn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I suppose, 100 odd years ago, a child died.
It's
A
like-
child
Yeah,
died.
yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah,
Move
whatever.
on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
But I said earlier on, I didn't think there'd be any recognition of any type of newspaper report or nothing. But you found the information on that tonight, which has surprised me.
It's amazing what you brought up, actually.
Oh, I didn't know it in that much detail.
Right, we'll sign off on that, finish me brew and see what we have to do.